I was pleased with our energy. I was pleased with the way the guys competed. I think they came out and played it like a game, which is a positive, but way too many mistakes, really far more than we've had in any practice to this point. You know, sometimes you call it a scrimmage and you actually move the ball and anxiety rises, particularly with some young players. And we had, I think, a lot of that today. We had 3 balls on the ground, which obviously is way too many, and one was a fumbled exchange, one was a back just got hit on the ball going in to score, and you know that sort of thing will cost us games, and we're going to make a really strong point about that. And those guys know if they can't hang on to the football, they won't be playing. We had, I think it was 5 false starts. I'll watch the film and see, but again, no excuse for that, and we haven't had nearly that many in any practice to this point, particularly in the last couple of practices. No new cadence, so no new issues there, but guys who have just a little additional anxiety. And so the thing I told them at the end is, we've got plenty of talent here. It's not an issue of the talent that's right here. It's a matter of guys being able to play with energy and poise at the same time. So we've got to the point now where I think we're coming out to practice with passion and energy and enthusiasm, and guys are playing with great effort. Now we've got to play with a little bit more poise and execute better.
Coach, was there any player or group that did play with poise today in the final?
I'm gonna have to watch the film before I can answer that. I don't know that right away.
Are you on board with the tackling the quarterbacks?
Absolutely. It's the only way you can really find out what a guy has, both as a runner, and we find out a whole lot about what he's made of in terms of timing and getting rid of the ball and being willing to stand in and take a hit and throw it rather than just duck it and scrambling out. We had too much scrambling around today, way too often. Quarterbacks not either reading the progression properly, getting the ball out on time, and I'm sure there will be some issues with the routes as well. But there was way too much scrambling around today and not delivering the ball. But yeah, I think it's a really good thing.
Coach Grimes, can you talk a little bit about, it seems like the offensive line has a little bit of an edge to it. Can you talk a little bit about maybe the pillars or your philosophy that wanted to instill maybe that type of culture within the offensive line?
Yeah, I mean, I've been an offensive line coach my whole career, and those guys should be the tip of the spear. And I talked to them, challenged them in our group meeting today, and told them that they're the guys who lead us into battle. And if they don't lead us into battle, then no one else can or will do anything. And Coach Pugh's doing a great job building the culture there the right way, and he has said that he wants our offensive line to be the toughest offensive line in the country. It's the same thing I said a few years ago when I was here, and I'm glad to see what he's doing. We're doing a tremendous job of building the right mindset there.
Jeff, how much coaching of the line are you doing yourself, or is it all?
I'm Coach Pugh's GA, so I'm there to help whenever I can. But typically during a lot of the individual drills, I would say about half the time I'm working with the offensive line. The other half of the time I might be working with a specific position, or I might just be kind of wandering around watching certain positions and adding coaching points as I see fit, watching the entire operation. And then when we have group periods where we group up, say the tackles and tight ends working together, guards and centers working together, Brian will take one, I'll take the other. Or when we have like all the offensive line, tight ends and fullbacks working a blocking scheme or a protection drill together, I'm always involved in that. So I'm still doing a good bit of it, but I'm just helping as much as I can help Coach Pugh and Dallas Reynolds. Dallas is doing a great job with those guys too. So the offensive line is not suffering for lack of coaching.
What percentage of the install do you have now after 3 weeks?
I think we're about 80%. Yeah, give or take 5 maybe. We're somewhere in that 80% range.
Are you on track? Is that where you wanted to be?
Yeah. I feel like we're about where we should be at this point. We'd like to get a little bit more in next week, and we will. How much will be partially dependent on what we see today when we watch the film. I assume not a whole lot on Monday. There will be a whole lot of correcting mistakes on Monday.
Are you in the 5th installment of your offense right now, or the 6th installment?
We've got 5 in, but we modified a little bit on the 5th. So we've got really 5 installs in with another full install left, but we could break that up into a couple of different ones if we chose to, which is what we did with the 4th.
What do you mean running backs so far in spring camp, especially today's scrimmage?
They're making progress. I don't think anyone has really stepped out yet and proven that they're the guy. But I like the progress that they're making. Coach Stewart is doing a great job with those guys. Again, building their mindset first, developing toughness, willingness to block, and reliability. And for those guys, they're doing a lot of things in the run game that are a little bit different than what they've done before. So just learning how to get their tracks right and reading the right things, getting their eyes in the right spot. It's no different than where an offensive lineman puts his eyes in protection or where a quarterback puts his eyes when he's working through his progression, throwing the ball. The running back has specific things that he's looking at in the run game. And we still got a lot of guys who are just kind of running like high school backs and making plays off of ability and not making the right cuts at the right time, but they're definitely making progress.
When Arizona and others scout you, will they look at LSU film? Or is that kind of, you envision that's kind of what they'll look to figure out what this offense is going to be all about?
I would assume they'll look at some of that. There'll be a lot of guesswork, I hope, in terms of trying to figure out where it comes from, because some of it comes from my time at LSU, some of it comes all the way back to my time at Boise State in 2000 and different pieces along the way. And some of it doesn't come from me. Some of it comes from the rest of our staff. So it's a conglomeration of a lot of different ideas.
With Ryan having played for you and then coached you at multiple stops, how much of you do you see in him?
How much what?
Of you do you see in him as a coach?
Probably more than he'd like to admit. But he and I just align so tightly in terms of who we are as people. As a player, I saw a guy who was passionate about the game, really tough, hardworking, not the most talented guy, but had enough talent to be a really good player and became a great player, a 4-year starter on a great team in a great league because he worked really hard at it and he was really smart. And the same things are the things that make him a great coach. And his passion for the game and the way that he sees the game are very much in line with the way that I see it. But part of that might not be his choosing. He's been influenced along the way. But he has a lot of great input for me as well too. He called a couple of plays today when I was looking for some suggestions and got some good ideas and some good input from the staff today while we were calling the plays. Anything else?